Hi guys, Sal's Real Navy checking in. Now before we get into this video, I do want to put you guys on alert. There's a bug of some sort flying around in the kitchen. I believe it's a moth, I'm not entirely sure, but if I start flipping out and screaming, that means that it came over to me and was flying on me, and I don't like those things. Hopefully it won't. The lights are on, so I'm hoping it will stay away from me, but again, I'm just putting you guys on standby. If I start freaking out all of a sudden, that's why. So anyways, today what we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to be starting a series of videos on different types of assistive technologies that are available for blind and visually impaired people. Now, the reason I'm doing a series on this is that there is no way that I can cover everything that I want to cover and be as thorough as I'd like to be and it not be a really, really long video. So I'm just going to split it into several parts. And there's actually going to be a part a little farther down the line that I'm going to have a friend help me with. Because he is older than I am, so he's, and he's a technology geek, so he knows a lot more about this type of stuff than I do. So the two types of technologies that I've used are the Perkins Brailler and TTS programs. Now, for those of you who don't know, TTS stands for text-to-speech. The reason I'm saying that is that I didn't even know what it meant until a couple months ago. Or as they are more commonly referred to, they are more commonly known as screen readers. Now the Perkins Brailler, it looks a lot like a typewriter, like one of those old-fashioned typewriters, but it doesn't have all 26 letters. It just has 6 embossing keys, a space bar, a backspace key, and a return key, or a line space key. But I believe the mechanism is somewhat similar to a typewriter. You know, the little head moves across the piece of paper, and then you have to manually push it back to the beginning and space down and start all over again. The difference is, while typewriters only make ink letters on paper, this actually makes dots. I used that through my elementary years and through the first half of middle school, I would say. But I believe I was in 4th or 5th grade when I started learning about computers. I mean, before then I kind of knew that computers were an option, but I don't know. Usually what I would do I would do my assignments on the Perkins Brailler, and then either my aide or my VI teacher would transcribe them into print so that the teacher could grade them. But once I started using a computer, I could just print them off, and that made it easier for everybody. So, like I said, we had the Perkins Brailler, which I used when I was young. But as I started getting older, I started to explore computers. The first screen reader I remember using is called Window Eyes. I am really not a fan of Window Eyes. The voices are very stilted and unnatural sounding, and I like a good natural sounding voice. If I'm using a synthetic voice, I want it to sound as lifelike as possible. I mean, a couple of the Window Eyes voices were okay, and some of them were novelty voices. There was a robot voice and a space voice, I think. So they were kind of cool, but again, not as lifelike as I liked. I used that for a couple of years. I actually had that on my home PC. But when I went into middle school, I discovered what they call note takers. And basically what those are, they're like PDAs or Palm Pilots for the blind, except they're bigger because most of them have a full keyboard. Now, I will get into that more when I do the video with my friend, but that is how I got introduced to JAWS. That is a acronym for Job Access with Speech. That is that's the screen reader I used all the way up through high school when it came to school projects and stuff. When I would do stuff on my laptop, JAWS is the screen reader that I would use. Now, occasionally, if I got really bored, I would turn on Microsoft Narrator just to see how different it was. But, that was just more of a fun thing that I would play around with. JAWS, I actually used JAWS on a regular basis. And when I was in 11th grade, so this would have been in 2011, I got an iPod Touch, and that's when I was introduced to VoiceOver. Now, VoiceOver, I may have mentioned in some previous videos, is an Apple program, and it is the Apple screen reader. It's available on all Apple devices, at least all, recent ones. MacBooks, iPods, iPhones, and I'll actually do like a whole separate video on VoiceOver itself, and I've got an old phone that I don't use for like phone purposes anymore, but I do, it still works. So I will actually use it to show you guys kind of how VoiceOver works and whatnot, and I'll show you a few of the different voices, but that's a topic for another video. And after I graduated high school, I got a MacBook for college, and ever since then, I've basically been all VoiceOver. I do kind of miss having a Windows OS to work with, because there are some applications, some programs that VoiceOver will not work well with. Microsoft Word is one of them, so that made writing papers for college a pain in the butt. There were ways around that, but still. I feel like if I ever decide to get a new computer, it'll be a Windows PC. So, yeah, like I said, there's braille writers, computers, note takers, braille displays. I'll get into that more with my friend again, and screen readers. So that's the kind of technology that is available for us to help us in our everyday lives, and to help us in school or at work or what have you. If you have any questions or any ideas for future videos, be sure to drop them in the comments. I'm always looking forward to new feedback. I'll have links to my other social medias in the description, so don't forget to follow me there if you're not already. If you want a more in-depth look at what VoiceOver can do than even what I will be able to give you on here, you can go to my Periscope. I have actually done I do a lot of live streams on Periscope, and in almost all of them you can hear VoiceOver talking to me, you can hear VoiceOver reading the chat to me, and it gives people a really up-close and intimate look, if you will, at the workings of VoiceOver and how I use it, at least when it comes to that app. Again, I will do another video demonstrating how it works and the different gestures you can use, and I'll show you guys some of the different voices and stuff that are available. But if you want a more in-depth look at how I use VoiceOver, head on over to my Periscope. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate all the support, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.